Alright guys, so first of all, here's the final thing. So if you like it, continue on. Today we're going to be making snow bases. What you'll need for this project is some sand. This is just some sand I picked up when I was in Arizona recently. I got some cork board for the rocks. Just you can pick it up at Walmart or Hobby Lobby. I have some whatever these are called, the tufts of grass. Citadel makes it. GW makes it. And then I have some fake grass and fake snow. You can pick them up from Hobby Lobby for like $2 a piece. They work great. Also, we're gonna need Elmer's glue and just a little tube of super glue. So the first step for the snow base is we're gonna break off a piece of cork board. And you don't want it to cover, well, I don't want it to cover the whole thing. You might want to, but kind of break it off around the edges so it's not sticking over. And after you get a good size that you like, take some super glue, glue the back of the cork board. Super glue's about out. Okay. There we go, and there's your first piece, your rock that you guys are gonna be standing on. So after we get that done, I'm just gonna take a little paper cloth and put some glue on it. And a really effective way to do this is to get like a brush that you don't really use anymore. It's kind of messed up, and brush on the glue so you don't overdo it, because you can overdo it and the grit will not stick right. So instead of just putting the glue directly on the base and smearing it around. So nice little even, try to make it even as you can, coat. Okay, we got the glue on there. And also, if you want to put those tufts of grass on, I like to just leave a little corner without any glue, like a little piece of it, so you can stick a tuft of grass there, and it won't be uneven with the sand, because they don't really glue on to sand very well. Okay, then we're gonna take our sand and just dip the base in the sand as best as you can. Sometimes it can be a little tough. And that's going to be about step one right there. This Elmer's glue takes a while for it to dry, so I would leave these out overnight, and then the next day go ahead and spray paint them, prime them, and so we'll start painting. And the paints you're going to need for this, for the sand color, we're going to be using a dark tan color, and then two lighter tan colors. I got Oops Shop T-Bone and Screaming Skull, and then the darker one I use Rucksack Tan from P3. Agrax Earthshade, and then for the rocks we use Mechanicus Standard Gray, so like a dark gray, and then you shade with Agrax, and then a Dawnstone Gray for highlights, and then Longbeard Gray for the final highlights. Since it's going to be an icy area, the white effect really looks cool on these rocks. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let that dry, and we'll go on to the next step. Alright guys, so we had that dry overnight, and glued pretty well. Now I'm going to go on to painting the actual sand. So we'll get that going. Let me use this one. So just put a base of a darker bone color, you know, like a tan. I use the Rucksack Tan, like I said. We have the first layer down on the sand. Now I'm gonna switch over to the Agrax, get that shade on there, so that can get nice and dry while I work on the rock part. Okay, here's the Agrax. Now we're gonna switch over to the rock while that shade dries. It takes a minute to dry. So we have our Mechanicus Standard Gray for the base. It's like a dark gray, one that you can highlight. I primed it black. As you can see, kinda, I didn't really get all the recesses in the rocks, which I have found out is not that bad. It's okay if you just coat it with gray. It'll turn out good. And that's the rock. I'm gonna go ahead and get a Agrax Earth shade on that one too, and then we can start highlighting the sand. I want to let the paint dry a little bit better. It's still kind of wet, but that's okay. As long as it doesn't get contaminate the paint wells, it'll be fine. Okay, so there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and let that dry, and then we'll start highlighting, dry brushing. Alright guys, so that got nice and dry. That's after all the base coating. Next thing we're going to do is go on to dry brushing the sand with our first layer. First one is Ushabti bone, however you say that. And just lighter than we did the base, kind of go through and get just like the medium sized rocks and the large rocks on the sand, the grains I mean. Okay, and it's okay if you get some on the sides like that. You can just take a black paint, cover that up when you're all done. Okay, so that's the Ushabti right there. And the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to skip over to the rock again. We're going to highlight the rock using Dawnstone Gray. And this one, just get the highlight of it. Dry brush it on there. What I'll do is I'll get a little thicker and put it around the edges like that. So it kind of gives it a highlight effect. Okay, then after you use that, at the top layer of the rock, and just go get the sides of it. So that's the rock with the Dawnstone right there. Okay, then we'll go back to the sand, final layer on the sand, and I like to use Screaming Skull for the final dry brushing. And this is just getting like the largest grains of sand, just very, very lightly on the brush. Okay, so it's just gonna be real light. That little patch right there, that's the patch I saved to put the what do you call them? The bush patches, little grass patches things. Okay, so that's the final dry brushing on the sand right there. Okay, next thing we're gonna do we're gonna move on back to the rock and finish getting this rock. Okay, so I like using Longbeard Gray for the final dry brushing on the rock. And if you notice, I use the same brush for all this. I love this brush for all my basing. It's big and it's skinny, so you can get into all the cracks and crevices, and I just use it for everything. Use it for shading, all that stuff. Okay, so that's the kind of look you're gonna get. Just go along the sides and let the texture of the corkboard grip the white. There you go. That's the rock. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna start putting flock on it. I'm gonna put the grass on it, and the snow, and little patches of grass. The first thing I like doing is the patches of grass, because you can actually put snow in the grass. Some grass right there. And just put some super glue right there. Just glue that grass down. You can do that as much as you want. Put as much on there as you can, or as you want. It looks good on the rock, it looks good next to the rock, in the cracks, wherever you can stick it. Just make sure it gets nice and flush too with the ground, because sometimes they come up a little bit. So make sure it's all on there good. Okay, now pretty much the final step here is putting the rest of the flock on. And I always start off with the grass. And you can just get your glue, put on your brush. A lot of people mix water with the glue and do a couple layers, which works really well, but I don't like waiting, so I just do a light layer. If you want more snow, then that's the way to do it. What you would do is mix in some water with the glue and just go give it a layer, put the snow on, let it dry, put another layer on, and just keep doing it like that. So it gives it it looks like it's really deep. But the way I like it kind of looking more like a tundra than a blizzard just happened. Another cool thing why I like to put the tufts of grass on first is I like to put glue on the tufts of grass for when I put snow on. I wasn't supposed to do that yet, but I'll go ahead and put the snow on that first. Just on the tuft of grass, since I jumped the gun. Just throw some grass on there. Skip the grass. Grass is not necessary. I think it looks a little bit better, personally. It's up to your personal preference. So there's the grass. We'll get the rest of the snow on there. I like putting the snow on the rocks too. Sometimes it comes out looking like ice. If you want it more like snow, the trick is lighter layers of glue and more layers. Okay. So that's it. So leave your comments. Tell us if you like it. If you don't like it, that's fine too. If you have a better way of doing it, let us know. Well, thanks, guys.